Apparently, I've been doing it wrong this whole time. I made a cup of coffee this morning because I didn't feel like going to 7-Eleven. It's kind of dark and nasty outside. My buddy told me I should throw some cinnamon in the coffee grounds prior to brewing it. And I tried that today, and that made an amazing difference. I don't think I'm ever going to make coffee again without cinnamon. It was absolutely awesome. Especially because I got this bag of super cheap knockoff coffee. It's typically gross, but that definitely made a huge difference. Anyway, rant over. We're going to do knives today. Bam! This is the Benchmade Hidden Canyon Hunter. And just, for good measure, we're going to do bam! This is the twin, the fraternal twin, I suppose. But, yeah, the twin nonetheless. Take these out of here just so you can get a good feel for them. I like these knives. I've had these for a while now. I'm going to say probably 6 to 8 months. I've had them for a bit. And I bought them online. I found a really, really, really good deal. Like, I just couldn't pass it up. I had to get them. And I got both because I wanted to make sure that I could make a video for you guys on them. Just, kind of a comparison to see which ones you wanted to, which one you like better. And, you can look at them together and see side by side which one would fit you more so than the other. All right, so let's get into it. Uses for these. This was designed as part of Benchmade's hunt line. So with the hunting line, this is going to be more of like a skinning knife. And I did a video a while back on, I want to say it's the Steep Country Hunter. And the video I did was why it sucks. And I mean, just as far as that whole thing goes, I just did not enjoy that knife at all. These knives are way, way better put together overall use-wise. I use these as EDC knives. Now, you could use these as hunting knives like they're designed. The only thing about them that I don't like per se is I would spend a lot of money on these. Typically speaking, Benchmades aren't cheap. So if you spent that money on it, I'm not going to take anything over an $80 knife out in the woods. I'm not going to get blood on it or risk losing it. I take one of those like I forget what they're called. They're like razor's edge knives where they have like the little detachable blades and you can replace them real easy. Kind of like a box cutter, but it's in a knife shape. That's something that I would use out in the woods as opposed to like a $80 to $150 knife. I'm just not going to do that. Plus with like this one specifically, if you were to get blood on this handle, that's going to stain. That is definitely going to stain, and some people might like that. That'll add character to your knife or whatever you may say. Me, I like to keep mine in kind of pristine condition. I use them, yes, I take them out, I do what I need to do with them, but I try to maintain them and keep them in good quality and good shape so that if I ever want to, eventually sell it, that it's in, 80% shape, roughly. That's generally when I sell my knives, is when they get to around the 80% range. So for me, this is going to be like an EDC type knife. It could be used as like a defensive knife, and that'll kind of lead us into the whole ergonomics. It does have that kind of flat spot there on the back, so you can kind of get a good grip. And just as far as that goes, we'll give you a little idea how big my hand is. It's just shy of 3 inches, just so you can see how it's going to fit your hand. But yeah, these fit really, really well, I think. I mean, look at that. Got a good grip. It's got a nice deep finger choil right there. And you still got about a 1/2 inch on the back end. So you've got some room to play with there. You can definitely put in some work. Same with this one. I think this one is let's see. It looks to be, yeah, they're about the same size. I mean, yeah, relatively same size. They fit the same way. This one has a little bit smoother feel, obviously, because it's Dymondwood, which is actual real wood, whereas this one's G10. I like this one a little bit better, just because if I was to get any kind of gunk or blood or sticky crap on the handle, I could just wash it right off. This one, I don't know. I'm just iffy about that. These knives are super, super quick in hand, and they just offer a lot of, utilitarian type roles. Because, I mean, you look at this little, like, flat spot here and here. That was designed for the hunting aspect of it, along with the jimping up top. There's 2 spots here, one for when you get your thumb up there, and the other, so if you're doing this, you can move your index finger and do some skinning and really, get in there and do some work. As far as the weight, I don't really care about the weight. I may or may not put it in the comment down there in the whatever box below, but personally, I don't care about the super detailed facts about everything like that. There are YouTubers who really get into that stuff. That's not me. I like the realistic weight, like what it feels like when I'm carrying it as opposed to what the actual weight is. So when you're carrying these on your belt, They're not really designed to be carried anything other than like scout or cross draw. That's just how both of these are designed. They have these belt loops here. I like it scout style. Everybody knows that I kind of carry my knives like that, but you can carry them, you know, on your waistline or whatever, however you like to do it. Personally, I do the scout style. One of the only things that I found about it is these sheaths can be a little iffy. I don't know if this is going to focus right here, but one thing I noticed is like when I'm sliding the knife in, trying to put it away, see like that, it gets hung up right there, and I keep slicing the edge right here. You can't really, let me see, focus. Maybe not. We'll see here. Well, either way, it gets sliced up right in there. So you kind of have to fool around with it. So if you were doing this like scout style, like I usually do, you kind of got to fiddle with it a little bit so it actually slides in there. But the one thing about it is this one, and I'm not real crazy about this leather sheath. This is a nice leather sheath. It's really high quality, good stitching and everything like that. But this one, this leather loop right here, feels kind of like a belt loop, like an actual belt loop, like it was cut from a belt. And this one is just real soft leather, and it feels like it's kind of, like you could almost tear it with 2 fingers. And I just don't like that. And then when you put this knife away, you're catching on that stuff right there. It feels like it's gonna slice the stitching up eventually. And then you got this belt loop here, or excuse me, the retaining strap. And you put your thumb on there, and it's kind of a tougher chaining strap. And with this, see right here, with this thin leather, I get worried about like stretching this out or tearing it. And then when you pull the knife out, you're gonna eventually run it across that leather. And over time, I feel like that's gonna cut that clean off. And I just, I'm iffy about that. That's definitely no bueno for me per se, but yeah. So we got S30V, G10, and Dymondwood. Now these 2 knives remind me a lot of the Mike Snowdy knife that Benchmade did a couple years back. I like these a little bit better because of the size and the price comparison. Because if you look at the Snowdy knives now, they're running like $200 because they're discontinued, so they're hard to find. Plus the Dymondwood Mike Snowdy one, or whatever the wood handle one, was D2 steel. And I just prefer that both of these come in S30V. I like that. I think it's a good steel for all around general use, and that's why I think they really hit a home run with this one. Now, as far as owning these knives, sharpening is going to be considerably more difficult than most of your other knives. You know, if you're like me, you have a lot of outdoors blades. Most of mine are in like 1095 or lower end steels. A lot of my outdoors knives are carbon steel, or they're going to be like Mora type steel. It's like a mixed bag of stuff. But all that stuff is very, very easy for me to sharpen up. These take a little bit more work. So the one good thing about Benchmade, as far as the company is concerned, is that they offer a lifetime sharpening for these. So you can send them right back in and they'll sharpen them for free. The only downside about that is I'm pretty certain you have to pay for shipping. And I just don't feel like I'm gonna pay money to have my knife shipped out there every single time I need it sharpened. I'll just either do it myself or take it to my local shop and let Sean do it down at Edgeworks. Yeah, but if you're familiar with sharpening knives, by all means, these are definitely, you can definitely do that. It's just a little bit more difficult because it's S30V, so it's a little bit harder steel to get a fine edge on, in my opinion. Now, the company reputation is immaculate, from what I understand. I've never had to send a knife back just because they've been really good quality stuff thus far. But everything that I've heard and or read, Benchmade really comes through in the clutch. Like, for example, I don't know if you've heard me mention it in other videos, but if you have a folding blade and for some reason you mess up the folding blade or you break it or whatever, you can send the knife in, and I think it's like $30, and Benchmade will put a brand new blade on there and tidy up the knife a bit and send it right back to you. So I think that's an awesome little feature, and that's just a testament to the quality that Benchmade offers. So I definitely like the company as a whole. Now, when I talk about the cost on these knives, it's generally speaking, when I first found out about this knife and I wanted to get it 8 months ago, I spent time looking for it. I could not find this knife for under $115. That was like the price. It wasn't higher than that. It wasn't lower than that. It was $115 flat out, and you're not going to find it anywhere else. I had to get both of these because when I found it online, and I can't tell you where because you're not going to get the same deal, but when I found these knives online, it was $80 a piece. Brand new. I got both of these brand new for $80 a piece. And I was just like, yes, I will take them. I'll get both of them, and I'm really happy with it. One thing about it, though, is, and this is why I think I like this one a little bit more. I'll see if I can focus it in without cutting myself here. But if you see the grind at the tip there, it's good. It's a point, it's normal, it's got a good size. Now look at this one. Brand new. I haven't even actually used this one just because I was not real crazy about the, I don't know, I just didn't really like it that much. But if you look here, let's see if I can get closer with this. Any day now. Look at the grind on the tip there. It's lopsided. So being an American-made knife, generally speaking, you would think that this would come to you, one, sharp out of the box, and two, with good grind lines and quality parts, nothing broken and whatnot. So that was a little disappointing. And yes, I do understand that every company has, you know, little accidents here and there. I wasn't really expecting it from Benchmade, I won't lie. There's like 3 or 4 companies that when I get a knife from them, if I order it online, I expect it to be immaculate when I get it. And this one just kind of let me down, and that was okay, you know, because I understand that does happen. I just am not crazy about it. I wasn't crazy about the wood handles and the leather sheath right off the bat, so those 2 things already turned me off. And then the fact that the grind was uneven, that just did me in. I was like, you know what? Nope, not having it. I'm going to send that one back. So this one is going to go back. That is the reason why I haven't used it. This one I've carried a bunch. Now I'm not going to, excuse me, I'm not going to throw any video beating on it or wailing on it, because with this size knife, I don't think I need to do that. It's Benchmade. I trust the quality from them. I've been using this in an EDC type roll, so cutting up fruit and, you know, lunches or opening boxes, etc., whatever it is. I've been using it in that role, but I don't ever plan on really taking this out and wailing on it, just because I don't feel like it needs to be put through that until it needs to be put through that. So on the rare off chance that I get stranded somewhere and I have to, you know, use my knife in a survival type role, yeah, I trust that Benchmade has built a quality knife and that I can trust my life to that, just because of my experience with previous knives from them. So I definitely like that about these knives. They're definitely quality. This one was just an accident, I suppose. I don't think that they, you know, have a history of sending out uneven knives like that. So that one's just going to go back. No big deal. I just prefer this one. Kydex over leather all day. G10 over wood handles, absolutely. And another cool thing about it that I did with that last video when the, what was it? The Steep Valley or Steep Country Hunter. I didn't like it because it had those rubber grips and rust could get down in there. You'd let moisture and water get underneath and there was no way to clean it. You couldn't take off the rubber grips, so you were just stuck with the rust building underneath. With these, you've got these little rivets that come right out. You just get a little screw and take that thing clean off and then lube it and oil it underneath, wipe away all the dirt and grime and everything else, and you don't have to worry about it. That's easy, and that's on both of them. So if you wanted to get this one, which I probably would lean away from, but unless you're a traditionalist, they both have that, so you can clean and oil your knives properly. And I think that's great, because the other knife was like $90 or $95, and these are around 100 to 115 bucks. Why wouldn't you just pay the difference and get one that has a little bit higher quality standards and materials? Cheaper knives, there are a bunch of them out there. I mean, you can find other stuff that are like off brands, or there's a million knives under 100 bucks that you can find. So I'm not going to list off my go-to pick for that one. But I think for the price value and for the company, you know, all the stuff that you're going to get with it, I think this is absolutely worth it, you know, because everyone knows that I love that White River Knives backpacker, and that is just that's a $90 knife by itself right there with no handle scales or anything. For a couple dollars more, you can get one of these. I would not opt either or. I would just get both. Not this, but the White River backpacker and this one. I would just get them both, just because they're both quality knives, and either way, you're not going to go wrong. If you want to spend $10 more, $15 more, get this one. If you want to spend less, get the other one. It's nice. Either way, you're not going to do any harm there. All right, guys, like, comment, and subscribe. This week we are going to do that giveaway. I'm going to announce the winners from the previous video with the 2 Amazon gift cards, the 2 $10 Amazon gift cards. Here's the catch: I am going to announce them on the Facebook page. So I'm going to put a link to the Facebook page down there, but make sure that you like the Facebook page so you can see who the winner is. If you're not liked on the page, you're not going to notice, so make sure you check that out. All right, guys, later.